County Executive Brenton today presented his 2024 budget proposal to County Council, a proposal that suggests raising your property taxes. Our Ethan Kibbe first reported the proposed tax increase last night. He joins us now with the deeper look at the budget and the county executive's explanation for the proposed tax hike. Ethan, what do taxpayers need to know this evening?
Mike, there's a lot that taxpayers need to know. We're talking about a $582.7 million, that's more than $500 million budget. We can only scratch the surface tonight. We could use the next 90 minutes and still wouldn't go through all of it. But here are three key things to keep an eye on. Emphasis on the words budget proposal, by the way, not final budget. Here are some of those key points. First of all, that proposed tax increase, we talked about that last night. It's 0.85 mils, meaning $85 per $100,000 of property value. So if your home is worth $100,000, you'd pay an extra $85 in property taxes. Also, more use of the fund balance. Think of that as sort of the savings account, the rainy day fund of Erie County. That's where you dip into if you're a little short. So with this budget, you've got a proposed tax increase plus dipping into the savings just to make the two sides of the ledger even out. And cost and spending increases. Spending and costs are up. Some newly negotiated union contracts. That's raised county spending a little bit. We see it in the jails. We also see it in the district attorney's office. There's some increased costs there. That one largely due to overtime. But the biggest hook here really is that last year's budget was plugged with American Rescue Plan Act money and with gaming revenue money. That's not available this year. That's why you see that proposed tax increase. We asked Davis about that because he campaigned hard on not raising taxes. Here's what he had to say and what the president of council had to say.
Mr. Executive, when you were running, you said, and I quote, "The Davis administration absolutely will not propose a tax increase in those first 4 years." What do you say to constituents who voted for you on that promise and now have been lied to?
Well, I would disagree about being lied to. I think there's a very clear difference between a candidate. I mean, you see that with every election, and then having won an election. The perceptions, even from the general public and a candidate, of the conditions inside of a budget, number one, they change. You know, they change in a household budget just like they do in government.
Well, I've always made the promise of no voting for a tax increase. I won't vote for a tax increase. There's other means, there's other ways. We just have to get in there and dig it out.
We'll see where this ends up. Without a tax increase, they'd either have to dip further into the fund balance, into that rainy day fund, or find about $11 to $12 million in cuts. One other thing to note, by the way, are cuts, especially to some grant programs. The executive suggests some cuts to GCAC grants. GCAC runs senior centers, among other things. Also suggests cutting some grants to community centers. Again, suggestions. Council has to debate, amend, and eventually adopt a budget by December 1st. Ethan Kibbe, Erie News Now.